As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to a special episode of Brav Bros. This is the Bravo news of the week, and this is for our members only. So this is only for the Brav Bros members, but we thought we would do something special this week and release it to the general public so you understand what you're missing by not joining the Brav Bros members. Shoots, am I right?
Ooh, I like it. It's sexy.
Yeah, because this is what you're missing out on an entire episode each week, because originally we aimed to do some news updates that would take 15 to 20 minutes. But what ended up happening, because we're not good at keeping things short, is this turns into like a 30 to 45-minute episode. So we do these every single week. We release it to our members in an exclusive feed, but we thought we would bring you just one exclusive episode in the main feed so you can hear what you're missing out on in the Brav Bros members. So if you would like to listen to these episodes moving forward, make sure you sign up for Brav Bros members. Our link is in our Instagram bio, or you can go to thebros.memberful.com to sign up. It's $5 for the month, $50 for the year. You get a community Zoom the first Tuesday of every month. You get a chance to talk to us face-to-face every month. You get weekly newsletters, and you get a weekly exclusive episode of us recapping the news and so much more. So if you want to join in, click the link in our bio or go to thebros.memberful.com. Again, it's $5 for the month, $50 for the year. What are you waiting for?
Do it.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow. All right, let's get into it. And like I said, we recap all of the major news issues from around the Bravo world. This week, Shoots, we had a slower week last week. We've hit the ground running this week. There's a lot of shit going on in the Bravo sphere. So just to give a quick rundown of what we're covering today, we got Brandi, lawsuit update. What else we got?
We've got Joel Kim Booster throwing Shannon under the bus during the Love Hotel, which I didn't even know he was hosting that. So that was news to begin with. But we'll get into that. We'll do a nice little dramatic reading of all of his Instagram posts.
Oh, yeah. Love a good dramatic reading. And then we've got the Tamra and Ryan and Eddie and Jen debacle has reached a boiling point. They are feuding like teenagers on social media right now. It is both pathetic and extremely interesting to watch the back and forths going on. They're literally commenting like they're in high school right now, and I'm here for it.
They are. They're just, all they're doing is screenshotting and reposting instead of just like reposting the original post. They're just taking screenshots of things that people are putting out there. We don't even know where half of these accounts are coming from.
No.
It's just something that like the Eddie one was so funny because I can't remember exactly who posted it, but I just saw him repost something that was from some weird Bravo news account that had like 15 followers. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are you like hashtag Eddie Tamra? Like, what are you looking at? Like, how did you even find that? So it is getting petty, and we love it when it gets petty because it gets a little dirty too.
It does. It gets a little nasty. You know, we like it when it gets just a little nasty, not super nasty.
Just a little stank on it.
Just give me a little stank sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So let's kick it off. I want to talk Brandi Glanville. So she just posted today that let me get this one verbatim. Hold on.
Yeah, when it comes to Brandi, you got to make sure you get your words right.
Well, if you don't, she'll spin it and then probably use us as evidence in some bullshit case. But let's see. So from I believe this is a tweet, but it says from Brandi Glanville, or at Brandi Glanville. I mean, you cannot write this shit. I guess I'm doing that now. But after a year of telling me how rich I was about to be and how strong my case against Bravo is, my quote-unquote lawyers have decided I now don't have a case and cut ties with me. Hashtag paid off, maybe? Allegedly. She put allegedly in there at the end of it.
Smart.
But look, this whole saga has been going on for far too long. Leah McSweeney has tried to tie her wagon to it as well, and she's going after Bravo repeatedly. With Brandi, once again, it just seems like baseless claims based on your behavior that we've seen on these shows. The article that I saw the picture on the article was her licking Andy Cohen's face. So if we go back, like the root of this is a phone call allegedly propositioning a threesome with Andy and Kate Chastain from Below Deck. When you hear the phone call, which I think most of us have by now, it's quite clearly in jest, and multiple people have come out and said this is fairly normal. Like, it's just a little banter. Like, Brandi's made jokes about sex toys to Andy before. They have this rapport together. So there never seemed to be that big of an actual lawsuit to begin with. And now she's taken to Twitter. What's her approach? Like, what's the game plan here by saying my lawyers just dropped me? Bravo must have paid them off.
She just wants to stay in the news, honestly, because I think at this point, Bravo has completely blackballed her after what happened on that Ultimate Girls trip that we may never see. Still have no idea when that's ever going to come out. But if you're Brandi, all of your behavior on these shows going back to when you were, like a full-time castmate up until
let's talk about Bluestone Manor.
Bluestone Manor. Yeah, that's what I was going to go to. Is at the Bluestone Manor, you were so unhinged. And now all of this is coming out because you're not on TV anymore. So I think that's the root cause of it, is really just trying to stay in the news and stay relevant. But nobody cares. Just, you know what? Look at Bethany. We entertained that for a couple of weeks, and then it turned into a fucking podcast, which we haven't heard from again.
Which one? There's like, I know there's so she's many. Got like 5 of them, Johns.
So funny. And she just did like the Raquel thing on like each of them. But since that Raquel interview, we haven't heard anything. We saw Bethany walk in New York Fashion Week. That was about it. And she's fine. Nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody talks about her eating crabs. Maybe that's what Brandi needs to do. She needs to bust open some crabs on Twitter Live and get after it.
Yeah, if you suck down some crab legs on Instagram Live, it worked for Bethany. I know we talked about it. We got shit for it because people are like, oh, what women can't eat? And we're like, that has nothing to do with it. It's just gross. If a man was chopping crab legs that close, I would be mortified. It has nothing to do with it.
Always makes me laugh. It's so funny.
That was my favorite comment. Like, oh, what, women can't eat? It's like, nobody said that. Nope. She's literally slurping an Alaskan king crab leg 2 inches from the microphone. That nobody needs to hear this. And now you get to hear this.
Yep.
While
in bed.
Talking.
In
a hotel.
Yeah.
Yucky. It was all yucky.
Maids.
But here we go. See, that's the power of the Bethany crab leg. We're now talking about it again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you see? So Brandi, get some crab legs.
Get some
and
crab,
you might have a leg to stand on.
Hey.
Now. Did you just cough because that was so bad?
Yeah.
I thought it was clever.
Oh God. But yeah, so we'll keep tabs. Don't worry, guys. We'll keep tabs on Brandi and her the ongoings here, because it's very important to everything that's going on right now. We need to make sure that we know what's going on with Brandi Glanville.
I mean, it is an interesting little tidbit every time it pops back. I never know when she's going to pop back up. I always assume that this saga is not over. The fact that she's now saying that Bravo paid off her lawyers, like it was pretty delusional. Like, she's been living in Delulu land for a while now.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing there at the end, hashtag paid off, maybe. It's like, no, I don't think they needed to. I think what ended up happening was they probably got all of the case files or whatever from Bravo's attorneys saying, here's what we have. And her lawyers looked at it and went, oh, fuck, we can't beat this. There's no way. We got to scrap this whole thing. Sorry, Brandi, the payday's not coming. And I think that's the root of it. You think it's to stay relevant? I definitely think that's a part of it, without a doubt. But I think at the end of the day, it's financial. She wants that payoff. She wanted, and I imagine Leah McSweeney was wanting the same thing.
Yeah,
they want that settlement. Give me a quarter of what I'm asking for, and I'll go away.
Yeah, if you're not going to put me on any of your shows, if you're not going to give me a paycheck, just give me some money and I'll go away
for now. Yeah, until I inevitably blow through that and need some more, and then I'll file another lawsuit and lose.
Yep.
But hopefully this is at least starting to taper off of the Brandi saga, because I'm kind of done with it now. That was just a weird little side note that we had to discuss because Brandi's back again. But let's keep trucking. We have a new show coming to Bravo that I don't know how to feel about it. I have mixed feelings. Especially after
in it at all.
Here's why. Okay, here's my mixed feelings. After doing The Bachelorette, I really enjoy the concept of dating shows and covering them. I think it's interesting for us from a male perspective because we get to talk about the male contestants,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fun. So I'm open to this idea of this love. What is it called? Love Hotel?
Yep.
Love Hotel. I'm open to this idea of Love Hotel. Now, we didn't know who the host was until yesterday. I didn't even hear any inklings of who the host was until yesterday. I'm not sure when those stories were posted. I would love to get a timestamp because I'd imagine they're in the wee hours of the morning after a potential big night. So Joel Kim Booster, who we have met, we were on Watch What Happens Live with JKB.
Yep.
He went on socials, and I believe you screenshotted these so we can read these out.
Certainly did. I'd love
Would
to.
you
read
like to do a
you.
dramatic reading for us? Because I would love that.
I think I have to, right?
Yeah, I think you have to put a little emotion into it.
All right. Joel Kim Booster.
Wait, is there a timestamp or does it say like 12 hours ago?
It says 2 minutes ago. So somebody got after it. Somebody's
quick. Somebody saw it. Oh God.
The whole thing behind this is that he eventually had to take it down. So I guess that Bravo reached out to him and was like, "Hey, no."
Well, his second to last slide was, "I'm sure I'll have to take this down," and then very shortly thereafter was like, "That was quick."
Yeah, make sure you screen. All right. So Joel Kim Booster. Just because you're a pathetic drunk on a reality television show best known for a string of failed relationships and a DUI does not make you a star and does not give you license to treat people you work with like they are subhuman. Period. They will make me delete this, but DM me if you'd like to see some videos. Bezos.
Oh, nice.
He hit us with a Bezos at the end.
Nice.
And then he went on to say a few minutes later, well, that was quick. Anyway, don't regret it. Hope you screenshot it. Hope she suffers. Well, let's just say I can't imagine what John Jansen went through. Poor guy. Talk about being on the wrong side of history. Jesus, dude.
Yeah. So there's a few angles I want to take on this one. The first one, and the obvious one being, so a lot of people have come to Shannon Bedore's defense over her treatment during this season. And rightfully so. The stuff we've been seeing with Johnny J and Alexis has been atrocious. That being said, that doesn't mean that Shannon doesn't still have her shortcomings personality-wise. She could still be an absolute nightmare to work with. I have no idea. And I've never said contrary to that. We've defended her against the onslaught of bullshit from Alexis and her ex-boyfriend. That does not mean that she, like, everything he's saying could be true. I don't know. I'm not sure. What I do know is this. We met him. He was not very nice to us.
He was not. But also, it's a punk move to put something like that on an Instagram story, to even say, and look, you're famous. Don't say DM me if you want the full story and some videos. Like, what are you doing? You're creeping around taking videos of her being a tyrant, as you're gonna say. Like, I just don't understand
videos. You know, if you have the evidence, post it instead of making us speculate as to what happened. My other issue with this, my probably larger issue with this, from a logistical standpoint and like from Bravo's standpoint, do you know what I don't need from a show host? This seems like a horrible look.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those fun, like, let's drum up some drama before the season. This is like, now I'm questioning the credibility of this show. If you hate her the whole time, is that going to affect the relationships in this house? Does that affect the dating? Does that affect the games? You might hate her with every ounce of your being, and you might save this for when the season's over and she looks like a nightmare. And then you go on the offense where you're like, by the way, boop, boop, boop. This is why Shannon sucks. You all saw it. I saw it firsthand. She was a disaster. She was a nightmare. The root of it, from what I've gathered, is she apparently must have gone after the wrong person. Somebody that he's very close to and cares a lot about.
That's what I'm thinking. It was probably a producer or people like cameramen, like things like that. Maybe she was like,
it seemed like a specific. He mentioned somebody. He was like, "I will ride for you." It's like a specific person that I think she went after during this thing that really kind of pushed him over the edge. Is that what I'm getting from it?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Again, we won't know. And even when the show comes out, we still won't know. I agree with you. The timing would be a lot better if he did this afterwards, because people are going to be asking about it. Hey, how was it hosting that? We didn't even know that you were hosting this show. So, hey, how was it hosting that show? It looks like a lot of fun. And then you can say, no, actually, it wasn't, because Shannon was awful. And then you can post those things, then have to take them down, but people are going to screenshot them anyway. It just seems like a really weird move. And it's not like we're very used to a lot of people on Bravo and reality TV in general posting things before or like right after they finish filming, right after they wrap. They'll put things out there to try to drum up a little bit more interest, because I forgot that the show was even coming out until I saw a picture of Ashley being reunited with her kids saying, "Oh yeah, I just got back from filming The Love Hotel." I'm like, "Oh yeah,
right.
Love Hotel. How about that?" But yeah, I don't know. The funny thing for me is this doesn't sway me one way or another to watch it. It's not like I'm now more interested to watch to see how Shannon is, but it's also not like I'm deterred thinking like, "Oh, I don't want to check into that." I'm pretty much still neutral at this point.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. And I think
Yeah.
that's why after processing this, I'm like, I don't think this was a good game plan. It's
No.
not, like I said before, not one of those things where I'm like, oh, they're trying to drum up some drama before the season starts so more people watch. This seemed very pointed, very intentional,
Mhm.
very personal. And yeah, I'm right where I was previously. I know this show's coming out.
Nothing has changed.
I'm
Well, I will
relatively
say
like,
that has changed. I now know that show is coming out. I will
and I know
forget
who's
again.
hosting it.
And I know who's hosting it. And I will forget again because they just finished filming. So that means they've got to edit it. It won't be out for months. I'll re-forget that it's even coming out.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. We're not very good with time
No.
or predicting time. It's not be out in a few months. It's like coming next week. Love Hotel.
Oh God.
But yeah, it was bizarre. I didn't understand it. I don't think it landed how he thought it would.
Yeah.
I don't think it resonated with the audience. But hey, but we'll see what happens with it. I'm confused. I'm a little confused by your tactics.
I'm confused.
I'm just going to keep being tough. That's I don't fucking know. But the last thing that we need to cover, and it's kind of all encompassing. There's a lot going on in Orange County, as we mentioned in the beginning, namely with Tamra, Eddie, Ryan, and Jen. So as everybody saw that watched OC, Tamra decided to take it upon herself to go after Ryan at this most recent dinner party at Katie and Matt's house. And they get into it a little bit. Obviously, there's tension between Eddie and Ryan. That's the basis for this thing, because Ryan had went on to, not 2T, sorry. Ryan went on All About the Real Housewives podcast. And when questioned about Tamra and Eddie, his response was simply this: when I went to Cut Fitness and asked people there, they didn't have, it was all negative things that they said. Was that what he said?
Pretty much. There was nothing.
I have it written down.
There was nothing positive.
It was nothing positive. Thank you. They didn't have anything positive to say. That's all he said. All right. Yes, he is throwing a little bit of shade, but also he's answering a question with, like, he could have went much further into that. And again, let me reiterate here. I'm not defending Ryan. Like, I think in this situation, I can defend him. I don't, but that doesn't mean I think that this is like a stand-up guy, like, oh, Ryan's vindicated from all the bullshit.
Right.
In this specific scenario, though, I don't see Ryan in the wrong. He went on the podcast. He answered a question very generically. He could have put you on blast. He could have put Eddie on blast. He didn't. He played kind of middle of the road and just said, yeah, I didn't hear anything positive. Moving on.
Yep.
They tried to bring the kids into it. They tried to bring more into it. They didn't answer. Ryan didn't say shit about it. The two hosts of the podcast said a little bit more in terms of Tamra's children, but Ryan had no response to that because he said, I don't live under their roof. Again, good response, protects yourself. You didn't talk any shit. Now, we have heard on TV multiple times Eddie talking shit. We've heard Tamra talking shit about Ryan multiple times. That was the whole storyline last year, was talking shit. We saw them in their stupid leather jackets at that bar earlier this season talking shit about them. So we know that this is commonplace. Also on the podcast, 2Ts, they talk relentlessly about Ryan. They bring him up nonstop. You drag this dude constantly. He goes on a podcast, has the opportunity to really drag you, and doesn't. And then you want to get mad at him for throwing Eddie under the bus. He didn't throw Eddie under the bus. Now you're calling more attention to the fact that your marriage seems like a sham. Eddie seems miserable, and you seem like a drunk mess most of the time.
What the funny thing to come from all of this is I didn't really have many opinions about Eddie personally because he
I didn't
do
care
a
about
lot.
Eddie.
He really didn't care. Like he brought nothing to the show, and I really just didn't care about Eddie. I hated Tamra so much that I sometimes would feel bad for Eddie and sometimes just didn't like Eddie, but that was just an extension of Tamra. But now watching the way that he reacts and the way that he talks, it's so fucking annoying. And we'll have like obviously we're gonna have a full breakdown of OC later this week anyway. But it's just so bizarre to me that Tamra's gonna stand on this leg of you can't talk about me on a podcast. What do? You go on your own podcast. You have your own podcast where you get information like the FBI raided your house. That's where you got it from. Somebody probably messaged you through the Two T's podcast, and then you and Teddy talked about it. Like that's where it all came from. You sit there relentlessly talking about whoever you want to, and then if somebody says anything to you, you just say, "Well, it's just a podcast." Obviously we have to talk about these things. Maybe I said a couple of things, whatever. It just doesn't really matter. Like he goes on one podcast, and you're really gonna freak out about that, and Eddie's gonna drop back. Like the one thing that, and again, we're gonna talk about this later, but the one thing that Eddie said that really bothered me was maybe 15 minutes after he told Matt, "Hey, don't give her any more alcohol. Please don't give her any more alcohol. I don't want to deal with that." He says to Ryan, "What? I'm not her keeper. Are you sure? Are you sure?"
You
Eddie?
just told her, that she can't drink anymore. So
you just
clearly you're
told the
trying to
host.
rein it in.
Yeah, you just told the host to cut off your wife, but you're not her keeper. Okay, sure, whatever. It just seems like he doesn't have the spine to actually deal with it. And I love that Tamra says things like, he's not a little bitch, so he's not going to get involved. I'm going to handle this. It's like, no, that is a little bitch move. He's the one who has the problems. You're just going to be loud about it, as you always are. And I love to see her spiral after it, too, because she was reeling after that show dropped. Then Watch What Happens Live. She was talking about drinking. She had to make corrections via Instagram and put stories out there, which I think you have if you want to do a little bit of a reading for us.
Sure.
It's just so funny to watch her reel it all back in. And this is what she's been doing for weeks now because it's not how she anticipated. Nothing is happening how Tamra thought that it was going to happen. She thought that everybody was going to be against Shannon. Everybody's uplifting Shannon. You are on the wrong side of history. She thought that, and look, Ryan's low-hanging fruit.
Easy.
I have no problem.
Easy money.
Was the first episode ever that I was on Ryan's side. And it's not just because I hate Tamra. It's because when she does stuff like this, I hate her. This is why we hate Tamra, when she does shit like this. And even for somebody like Ryan, who we have so many questions about, who we rip on this show relentlessly, usually for his fashion and just the way that he talks, we're on his side. That's a problem.
I agree. And people have been posting that nonstop where they're saying, you have gotten us on this guy's team. Again, let me reiterate. Doesn't seem like a stand-up dude. We skewer this guy all the time on this podcast for his fashion and for the way he talks. But in this instance, and also if you compare the relationships of the two, Eddie and Tamra, Ryan and Jen, for better or worse, Ryan and Jen seem happy.
Yeah.
Is it going to end tragically? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? We'll talk a little bit more about the ins and outs of it this episode. I'll explain to you exactly what's going on in case anybody's not up to speed. Who knows what's going to happen? But just from an objective viewpoint, outsider looking in, Jen and Ryan seem pretty happy. Tamra and Eddie seem miserable. Eddie is rolling his eyes the whole time. There's like memes of him looking like in the background of Tamra just with this like fuck it face where he's like, oh God, not again. So this all to me, and Ryan says at the end of the episode, and he said it on the podcast, it's like they're just miserable with their own lives and they see something they don't have in us and they're taking it out on us because they're not happy. And that's what I think. But it's a classic Tamra move, and she's been doing it for the past few weeks, but she's been doing this her whole career as a housewife and her whole fucking podcast. Say one thing, get in trouble, get called out, backtrack and apologize, or claim he didn't say it. Even if we have video evidence. And we saw at first her and Eddie were going to Watch What Happens Live. They took a video of them on the street after eating like Italian food and clearly have been reading the comments because you get this much different Eddie where he's like, oh, we just had some Italian. I love New York. And like he's being all loud and boisterous and they're smiling. And she apologizes for talking about the FBI on TV. Fast forward, she gets on Watch What Happens Live and says that she didn't steal $16 million and claims that Ryan did. Claims he stole $16 million, which is the amount in question amidst this whole gambling thing. but says it was Ryan that stole it, which, yes, that's defamation. Yes, you can get sued for that. And yes, I'm glad she finally did catch a lawsuit, because you can't keep saying things about people and then going, just kidding. And then she goes to Instagram and says this. As I mentioned on my IG story yesterday, I would like to apologize for and correct the record on a misstatement I made on Watch What Happens Live on Thursday about Ryan. I have no reason to believe that Ryan has stolen any money. I misspoke in tying Ryan to the actions of others. I meant to say my company makes more money than what was stolen from the Dodger player. Unfortunately, I misspoke on live television. While Ryan and I have ongoing issues, I do apologize to him for the mistake and wish to make clear that my statement was made in error. I sincerely apologize, Tamra Judge. Here's the thing. Apologies don't wipe away lawsuits. And Ryan hired the same attorney that the Bellinos had to sue Tamra and took a picture of the summons being put on her front door. So, again, we've seen this 1,000 times. We're probably going to see it again out of Tamra. You cannot just make baseless claims, whether it be on a podcast, on Instagram, on a TV show, or on the Housewives. You cannot say shit that's simply untrue without actual evidence and just assume that if you run it back, you're not going to get in trouble. So I'm glad it finally caught up with her. Not that I wish like harm on anybody, but fuck, stop talking shit. And then have the balls to stand up and say, I fucked this one up. Same thing with Eddie. Watching Eddie navigate that evening, you are a little bitch boy, Eddie. When Ryan walks into the house and is trying to just shake hands, the non-bitch boy move is to shake his hand, move on. Don't call attention to it or be like, I'm not going to hug you. I'm walking. I had nothing to say to you. You're in someone else's home. Shut the fuck up and be a grown-up. Like, my God.
We can't say this enough. It is the real housewives of
What's
Orange
that word?
County.
What's that second part of that one?
Wives.
Okay. What's
not
it
husbands,
not?
not husbands. Definitely not
husbands.
husbands. And it's getting juicy. We've got the reunions filming soon. I fucking think. I don't know. We never know these things. We'll see pictures next week, I'm sure.
No, it is.
It
is. I saw Andy's tweet. We are filming the Rosie reunion today. Get those questions because he asked Twitter for questions.
Perfect. So it was today.
That was like no, that was within the past week.
Oh shit. I kind of wanted it to be like in the next couple of days because you had Jen going on a podcast too, finally admitting to the fact that she was brought onto the show just so Tamra could have a punching bag. And that she was never actually her friend. She's never been a good friend to me. And I finally realized that this year. I'm hoping that she has that same energy for the reunion because it's going to be a doozy. There is so much to unpack. There's still so much of this season left, by the way. They still have to go to London. They still have to get to the point where they pick up the cameras again for Ryan's whole thing. There's so much left. And then the reunion, I'm not going to eat my words. I never want a 3-part reunion. I'm going to want a 3-parter for this one because there's so much
eat those words.
No, I'm not. I really don't think I am because if they break it up, it's like tailor-made. Break it up into 3 episodes and you have so much to unpack. You could just do all of Shannon and Alexis episode 1 or do a whole recap of the season or whatever, where everybody stands episode 1. Shannon, Alexis episode 2. Ryan, Jen, Tamra, Eddie, everybody. Make sure they come out on stage too. I want them there too. Do that episode 3 and then wrap it all up. That's a perfect way to do it, especially with Alexis too, commenting on every fucking post on Instagram. Dude. Every post that she puts up there, she always ends it with, check my IG. I'll let you guys know the truth soon enough. Okay, you've been saying that for weeks. Where is it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the live. I've yet to see it because we're going to have to watch it. So where is it? So we can expedite this process of watching you bullshit to the camera. But just to fill everybody in, like a quick cliff note of what's going on with Ryan if you are not up to speed. So Shohei Otani, arguably the greatest baseball player to ever play baseball, plays for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Shohei Otani has a translator that travels with him everywhere. That is arguably also his personal assistant. Like, these guys are tight. They do everything together everywhere, all over the world. Now, there was a $16 million gambling debt that had to be paid. Okay. Shohei Otani worth hundreds of millions of dollars. His translator, not worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, this money was paid to an account. there is a bookie or a bookmaker.
Bookkeeper.
I think it's bookmaker. I think bookmakers.
Yeah, it's probably his book. Yeah.
Regardless, there's a bookie that takes these bets. He has an account. Now they need a middleman from this account to the bookmaker, the bookie. All right. Ryan's account was a joint account with this bookie. The money from the translator was placed into this account to then be sent forward to the bookie. That account also having Ryan's name on it. These bets were not legal that were being made and placed by this translator. So all of that money is now subject to indictment, fraud, money laundering. There's a whole list of things that can be attributed to it. Now, the bookie has not been named in any unsealed documents. That's important to note. I'm just giving you the groundwork of what this whole thing looks like, how Ryan is involved. He is essentially the middleman for the money and has been in contact with this bookie for an extended period of time. He loaned him like $250K when he went bankrupt back in 2011. So they've had an ongoing relationship. As far as the extent of it and how much Ryan was involved, we do not know. But that is, in a nutshell, what's going on and why it's such a big deal. Because again, it involves the biggest baseball player on the planet right now, a shitload of money, and a very confusing story about a translator that had access to $16 million of Shohei Otani's money, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You can dig into that too. But hey, that's the cliff notes of what's going on with Ryan and why the FBI is involved. Because the FBI is involved. I don't think they raided his house, but they are involved.
They may have raided his house.
We don't know though.
Yeah,
we don't know.
We don't
I don't want to say. I don't want to. I don't even want to touch it.
Yeah.
Allegedly, maybe not. We don't know. I haven't heard anything like that. I haven't seen anything like that. The only evidence we have of that is Tamra talking. So that's where we're at with Ryan.
And I don't know if we're really going to get even more of a fuller scope. I feel like all the stuff that's coming out right now is going to be more indicative of his actual relationship with everybody. And obviously there's a lot of film or videos and pictures of him with this, with the bookmaker in Vegas, and they go to the casinos together and they have a lot of fun. So there's obviously a close relationship there. So there's not a lot of plausible deniability, especially when your name's on the account to begin with.
That's the tough
part. I don't
part.
think we're going to get a whole lot of answers in that, that pick up the cameras moment, but you know, we'll see what we got. I'm excited for it.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, there you go. In a nutshell, what's going on. And that is your news for the week. And if you enjoyed this little tidbit of an episode, we do these every single week. They are available to our members only. So in order to get access to these moving forward, you need to sign up for Brav Bros members. Click the link in our Instagram bio or go to thebros.memberful.com. It's $5 for the month. It's $50 for the entire year. We would love for you to join the fun. We have a community Zoom the first Tuesday of every single month. We got when you're listening to this, our community Zoom is tonight. So if you want to join in on that, you have a chance to talk to us face to face. We cover all the topics going on in Bravo right now, the current shows, what's coming up. Now is your chance to join the fun. So click the link in our Instagram bio or go to thebros.memberful.com and you will have these episodes every single week.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. You got anything else?
Nope.
Nope. Brav Bros are out of here.